Imagine this. Imagine you hop onto Steam on your gaming PC, your desktop computer. You see that Steam's got a summer sale going on. Some of the games that you've been eyeballing for a few months are now 50% off, which is already a great deal. But wait a minute, there's a game that you've been looking at to, maybe buy for the past 5 or 6 years and just never got around to it, never had the time. But bada bing, bada boom, the game is 75% off. You purchase it digitally, that's the key word. Well, then a few days go by, right? A few days go by, and then all of a sudden, a notice pops up underneath the game and says, you will not be able to access this game following September 1st, 2022. Well, by the time that this video goes on YouTube, that means you'll only have about a month and a half to play your digitally purchased game. What's going on, everybody? Cryptix, and that's the Ubisoft situation in a nutshell, all right? But there's a lot to talk about here in terms of alternatives, in terms of the precedent that Ubisoft has officially set with this horrendous, beyond anti-consumer act. So before we get into the rest of the video, guys, don't forget to drop a like. I'm shooting for the stars, I guess, because we did not hit our like goal last time. Each and every single one of you matters to hit our like goal. So let's aim for 75 likes on this video. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this, man. All right, so Ubisoft has already been hated in the past. They actually recently came, under some scrutiny with the NFT hype. They were trying to get NFTs to be a thing in one of their video games. I don't really remember much about it, but I do remember them trying to push NFTs and these play-to-earn cosmetic items. You could not purchase them. You just have to spend, 100 hours to get them. That's besides the point, but Ubisoft has already been hated in the past recently. But they've now hit a new low, okay? Because this whole situation started with Assassin's Creed Liberation. The game, like I mentioned in the intro, was 75% off during the Steam summer sale. And then a few days go by and you get this following notice, all right? Imagine you're on Steam right now, you purchase this game, maybe you've only played the game for an hour, and then you get this. Please note, this title will not be accessible following September 1st, 2022. Now, this is terrible, right? This is a terrible precedent that it sets. But before we talk about the precedent, let's talk about what'll happen, right? Well, you won't be able to play this game. If you try to play this game on September 2nd, your digitally purchased Assassin's Creed Liberation game, right? You will try to hop in on Steam, you'll try to click play, and it'll just back you out and boot you to the Steam homepage. That's essentially what it's going to do when it means that you won't be able to access this game following September 1st. And that's crazy because that's in a month and a half, right? So you only have a month and a half to play the game that you maybe got on sale. Maybe you didn't get it on sale. Maybe you paid full price for this title before the Steam summer sale. And now you're just getting around to playing the game, and then you're, ish out of luck. You basically wasted your money trying to get this digitally purchased game. Now, this is really, really crazy because I own so many digitally purchased products in the past 5 or 6 years, right? I have countless games on my, PlayStation and my Xbox, right? Call of Duty, NBA 2K, pretty much every iteration for the past 7 years I've been purchasing digitally, right? Just for those two franchises alone. Not to mention all the other ones. I digitally purchased Cyberpunk. I digitally purchased a bunch of other games, right? I can't think of them off the top of my head, but you guys get the point. The last game that I got that was in a box was actually Lego Star Wars, the new one, and I also got Elden Ring in a box, and that's my PlayStation 5 box collection, which is wild. But enough about me, right? What precedent does this set? What happens now, right? Well, the first thing that I'm going to tell you guys, right, is not only is Ubisoft at fault for this, right? But Steam, in a way, is also not looking too good, right? Because, obviously Steam had to follow orders. But if you're Steam, if you are the CEO sitting in a chair at Steam right now, you must be thinking to yourself, oh crap, if Ubisoft can do this to my Steam library or the consumer's Steam library, what do you think could happen with all the other AAA developers out there that have the legal authority to take their game out of consumers, libraries, and also out of the Steam store? Steam is looking pretty fragile right now when you really break it down and get to the core of it, because Steam is a digital gaming library, essentially. So the fact that Ubisoft can do this with one of their games means that pretty much any developer, that is a AAA developer for sure, because all the lawyers and all that stuff, like, they know what they're doing, right? Any AAA developer can basically do this to their game. That is frightening, okay? Because that means that any digitally purchased game that you've gotten off of Steam can be completely ripped out of your hands. Not only that, right, but the other dangerous precedent that it sets is not only will you be able to get your game taken away from you on Steam, but this can also happen to you on Origin, on Epic Games, on your PlayStation 5 digital library, on your PlayStation 4 digital library, on your Xbox Series X digital library, and also your Xbox One digital library. That is scary to think about, because I'm pretty sure if you're like me, you've been basically purchasing 95% of your games digitally because it's just easier to do. It's, pretty convenient. You just, pop in the credit card, download the game, bada bing, bada boom. It's right there in your library. But now I'm thinking about getting my games physical, because if this could happen to a single player based game like Assassin's Creed Liberation, this could happen to any title that you can possibly think of. Now, the other crazy thing here, right, is even if you do get a, physical copy of a game, and this is very important for people that maybe want to go to the physical copy route, well, you gotta make sure that this game is not 100% reliant on servers, whatever game it is, right? Because let's say we'll just use, Assassin's Creed Liberation, for example, right? It's a single player based game. But imagine if it was like MMORPG based, where you had to get onto a server to even play the game, right? Even if I had the physical copy, if the company decides to shut down the servers, I'm most likely 99.9% of the time out of luck, and then my physical copy is also worthless. So if you're gonna get a physical copy of a game, make sure that the servers, even if they were to go down, the game is not just like another disc just chilling that's like basically just trash at that point, a paperweight, right? The other thing to add on to all of this, because again, this is the first time a company has done this, in a way, Ubisoft is indirectly promoting, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, okay? I'm not saying I allow or condone this type of behavior, YouTube, right? But in a way, Ubisoft is indirectly promoting piracy in video games, which, if you guys don't know what piracy is, there's a lot of YouTubers that have broken it down way better than I'm about to in this next 30 seconds to a minute. But basically, if you decide to get a ROM of a game, some type of pirated copy of a video game that maybe you want to play, and again, let's use Assassin's Creed for this example to stay consistent, right? Let's say you get a, pirated version of Assassin's Creed Liberation, right? It's in your, computer, hopefully doesn't have a virus on it, right? Got to be careful with that too. But let's say you have that game. Well, that game is officially fully in your computer. There is not a digital license agreement or anything like that from like Steam or from Ubisoft that can physically, or I guess not physically, digitally take the game away out of your computer. When you have your game in Steam, that's a different story. When you have your game in some type of launcher, that's a different story. When the game is reliant on servers, that's a different story. But when it's a single player based game and you are basically able to pirate it and get it somehow, A, the game is fully in your possession, just like a physical copy. And then B, the other crazy thing is that sometimes pirated games actually play better and run smoother due to certain licensing agreements within the game and whatever, console or proprietor the game's being sold on, right? So if the game's being sold on PlayStation 5, there are certain limitations that the game basically, the developers put on the game for the PlayStation 5, so it doesn't like overheat or break your PlayStation hardware wise, but also B, it doesn't break those rules that could condone that type of, result, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is that if you do have a pirated game, in a way, you're on top in this situation. If you pirated Assassin's Creed Liberation, not saying it's good, not saying it's a good thing, not condoning the behavior, but you are basically able to preserve the game longer on your own computer or your own whatever, right? Compared to the people that bought the game through Steam. And now we're getting the game taken away from them. This is crazy to me. I'm really going to have to build up my disk library once again. And I got to make sure that my disk library is not reliant on servers or any type of like live service types of models. Got to make sure these games that I do get physically are, not reliant on servers. And that's basically where we're at right now. And Ubisoft is so beyond anti-consumer. This is scumbag behavior, honestly. And I will not be purchasing games from them anytime soon or in the near future. So anyways, hope you all did enjoy this video. Drop a like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about this. I'm Cryptix. Definitely not getting Assassin's Creed Liberation on Steam because I'm not going to be able to play it in a month and a half. And signing off.